Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, good.
It operates well now.
Okay. Even I'm not, I don't like this Zoom. For me, Skype is better, but it's okay. This makes me somehow confused. Miss Claire, as I mentioned in the personal meeting with you and Miss Amel, I said that this topic is of a really great importance to Islam itself and Muslims, because we do really appreciate knowledge and wisdom, especially in the history of Islam, especially the wisdom starting by Prophet Muhammad. He himself, who is considered one of the wisest people in the world, because of his character since a child, because of his character as a young boy, and his character in a family, his character in dealing with polytheistic Arabs before Islam, and in his character after receiving the message from God and becoming a prophet for whole humanity and delivering a message like the Quran, who was given to the Arab idolaters before Islam. So the knowledge that he received only by God, because it is clearly known in the Islamic history that Prophet Muhammad never had a special knowledge. He never took, because usually we know that when somebody becomes clever or wise, he or she must have a teacher. If we don't have any teacher, we cannot easily become wise or knowledgeable people. Without having a teacher, we cannot be professional later. So we need a guide to follow up in our knowledge and being wise in the future. And this is, we have so many cases in Islamic history as well. So I mentioned in the personal meeting that this topic, it is really important for Muslims in Islam itself, in the basic of pillar of Muslims, which is Islam and the Quran message. And according to the first question, I can say that knowledge, it is something that we can reach it during our life. So let's try to explain the differences between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge, in my opinion, it is something that we can reach it during our life. We can grow up, go at school, then at university, etc. We can have post-graduation diplomas, etc. We can read so many books and follow many different courses, professional and knowledgeable courses, like different languages or professions, as well as we can receive many certificates after following many different courses. And all this may be called a knowledge in the modern time that we gather and we are interested to grasp it and absorb it or embrace it for ourselves. That our mind can receive different information from the outside world of the mind. This is in philosophy. By increasing our knowledge about life, about ourselves, about the meaning of life, about death and environment, society, etc. In the meantime, wisdom, or hikmah in Arabic, it is something that we Muslims believe strongly, that God gives wisdom to whoever he wants. So the wisdom, it is given only to special people, not to everyone, according to Islam and the Quran itself. I will mention some verses of the Quran. In Arabic, al-Hakim. In Islam, it is this word in this Arabic word in Islam, al-Hakim, it is, can you hear me? It says time to time, it says your connection is not available. There's a problem.
We can hear you very well.
Okay, that's cool. So the Arabic word al-Hakim in Islam, from the meaning of Islamic meaning, it is considered also as one of 99 names or qualities of God. In Islam, it is considered that God, the Creator, Allah, He has 99 names or qualities that no human being can have it, or no other creature can have it. Merciful, Creator, the Wiser, whatever. There are 99 names. And so it has a very great meaning in Islam. Also, in Islam, wisdom is called hikmah, as I mentioned before. And we have so many stories about this in practice from the Quran and in practice of life during the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad, about the hikmah, about the being wise, such as the story of Luqman al-Hakim, the wise Luqman. Luqman, it is considered a wise man in the Quran, and his story bears the name of one of the surahs or chapters of the Holy Quran, Surah Luqman. He is considered to be Al-Hakim, the wise, which after him is named even the surah or chapter of the Quran, the chapter number 31. In that surah or chapter of the Quran includes advices that he is giving to his son, and mention that he is one of the wise people in the world, but it is not considered as a prophet, but only as a wise man. So we have in Islam the 25 named prophets, and 3 people like Luqman, who is not considered as a prophet by receiving God's message because of that. In the story about this guy, Luqman, who was described as a perceptive man, perception, and always watching the animals and plants of his surrounding environment, he tried to understand the world based on what he saw. One day, whilst sleeping under a tree, an angel came to him and said that Allah or God wanted to bestow a gift upon Luqman. This is a story as we have learned about him. Either wisdom, one of 2 gifts, either wisdom or being a king. Luqman chose wisdom. And when he woke from his slumber, he was aware that his senses of understanding and feelings have been sharpened. He felt in complete harmony with nature and could understand the inner meaning of things beyond their physical reality. This we have learned even in Islamic philosophy, in my master's degree, about the physical, about the conception of mind, the outside world, that we think with our mind and logic, but and we see with our physical eyes. Immediately he bowed down after understanding that his senses and understanding has sharpened. Immediately he bowed down, thanked and praised Allah, God, for this wonderful gift. Also, the name Al-Hakim in Arabic, it means a wise man, or even used for some doctors, medicals of Islamic medicine during the Islamic story, such as the name of Ibn Sina or Averroes, or Muhammad al-Ghazali. It is considered a Hakim, a clever, a wise man and philosopher. Also, Avicenna, it is considered al-Hakim, wise, because of his general knowledge about the world. Can you hear me, right?
Yes.
Also, in the Quran, the story of both prophets and brothers, Musa and Harun, or Moses and Aaron in the Bible, it is famous in Bible and the Quran at the same time. Their story includes when, this is from the verses of the Quran, when Prophet Musa or Moses knew about God's message and asked God, please, I have a physical problem. I cannot speak well. So when he was invited from the Pharaoh to deliver the God's message, he knew that if he can do something wrong, if he can say something wrong, he cannot be able to transmit the proper divine message. So he asked God, please give me my brother as my supporter, because I know that I cannot speak well, I cannot deliver. And this story includes that he wanted a wise man, like his brother, to deliver the proper message. Knowledge and wisdom in the Holy Quran are mentioned in more than, in some informations, it is said that the wisdom and knowledge in the Holy Quran are mentioned in more than 850 different verses, out of 6,600 and some verses of the whole Quran in general. In 800 different verses, which means the great importance that God, Islam, and the Quran gives to humanity. And this, it means that the wisdom is considered as the greatest gift for the human being. I'm just mentioning 2 verses of the Holy Quran and I finish this one. Allah grants wisdom to whoever He wills. And whoever is granted wisdom, not only knowledge, wisdom, is certainly blessed with a great privilege, but none will be mindful of this except the people of reason, the people who think. The other verse, remember when Allah, God, made a covenant with the prophets, saying, now that I have given you the book and wisdom, if there comes to you a messenger, this is a message for the former holy books. Now that I have given to you, prophets, the book, messengers of God, and wisdom as well, if there comes to you a messenger confirming what you have, you must believe in him and support him. He added, God, do you affirm that this covenant and accept this commitment? They said, yes, we do. Allah said that then bear witness, and I too will bear witness, and I am a witness. This is considered about the former books like Holy Bible and the Torah before, when both prophets were waiting for a prophet to come, and they said, we will believe him. These are prophetized in the Holy Bible. And Prophet Muhammad said about the knowledge, the last saying, there is no envy except in 2 instances. A person whom Allah, God, has endowed with wealth, and he spends it righteously, and the person whom Allah or God has given hikmah or knowledge or wise, making him wise, and he judges by it and teaches it to others. Thank you. And I'll finish sooner this time. By the second question, I've written in my script that it depends how we define and in which meaning we or you want to describe this. If there is something, any record in the holy books of Vedas or Bible or Quran about something by having knowledge but no wisdom. And I think depends in which meaning we are talking about. Because in many verses of the Quran, the knowledge comes along with the wisdom. As Islam explained, the Holy Book is itself a wisdom because it is from God. It's not man's creation. As it came something from the all-knowing being, who is God, the Creator, it means that he knew the best of wisdom of everything. So, in Islamic point of view, we cannot accept that can be only knowledge without wisdom. And as I mentioned in the first answer, in more than 850 verses of the Holy Quran, it is mentioned the people who think and knowledge. This means when God says in the Holy Quran in some verses like, "O you who think, O you people of the mind, the people who read are more valuable than the people who don't read. The people who think are more valuable than the people who don't think." Such verses of the Holy Quran, it means by sure that when you grasp knowledge, out of that you can be a wise person. And I wanted to link it with Islamic civilization after the coming of Prophet Muhammad and then the conquesting of the areas of the time. The main purpose of Muslims bringing up a civilization called Islamic civilization, which most of the old buildings are still remaining in many countries, like in Syria, Lebanon, Egypt. I mean from the Islamic, not the old civilizations. The Islamic civilization, like in Alhambra in Spain, like in Palermo in Italy or Sicily, where some old mosques ruins that are still there. In Palermo, there is a castle of Muslims when Muslims ruled. So from those times, when they brought, especially in Andalusia, in former Spain, when they brought the civilization, what was the main meaning was that through the Islamic God's teaching, we want to make a better life for humans by guidance, by enlightening the streets, by giving knowledge to each one and sharing knowledge with different people, not only with Muslims. Because we know from Islamic history that even priests of the Dark Ages of Europe, they used to send their children to teach with Muslims, but they didn't become Muslim. They went just to share knowledge. So this was made that to bring the knowledge of God on earth for the humanity. So by the Islamic knowledge, this meant to bring the knowledge of God for better living among humans on earth. This is the blessings of some great, especially fountains of Muslim civilization, well known in Iraq, in Andalusia, up to now as well. And the first message of or verse of the Holy Quran, when angel Gabriel sent down to the Prophet Muhammad in the Hira or the cave in the city of Mecca in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia at the moment, the first verse, it was Iqra in Arabic, which means read. And the angel Gabriel told him to read from the Holy Quran that he was delivering from God. And the story continues. The Prophet Muhammad said, "I cannot read. I'm an illiterate person." He said, "Read again." And he took his body from the Islamic history by forcing him to read. And he said, "I cannot read." These are recorded in Islamic history and the life of Prophet Muhammad. For the third time, the angel Gabriel said, "Read in the name of your Lord who created everything." Holy Quran, surah or chapter 96, 1 to 5. They are the first ever verses sent by God through the Prophet Jibreel. And because of this situation that Prophet Muhammad experienced, went to his wife Khadija, and he was shivering, shaking, and said, I'm experiencing something I never did it before. So it was something to read in the name of your Lord who created everything. And with this, God didn't limit what to read in Islam, in the Quran. There is no limitation at all that Muslims should read only about religious books. They should read only about religious pillars. But everything, and Prophet Muhammad said that whoever wants the knowledge, it is a hidden treasury for Muslims. Everywhere they find it, they will take it. And in those times, he said even to his companions, found the knowledge until China. In those days, China was created as a big imperatory of that time. And then, starting by these first 5 verses of the Holy Quran, we can easily understand that God gives a great knowledge, that only He, the Almighty, is the creator of everything, and only He really deserves to be worshipped, He alone, by reaching the great and pure monotheistic of one and only divine creator. Then, Muslims believe that Islam itself has come from the divine creator of everything, who created everything, who knows everything in details, our appearance and inside us, our way of thinking, etc., and is wise of everything. As I mentioned, it is one of the qualities of God. We have it 99 names, the creator, etc., the blessed one, etc., and the wisest one. So He is wise of everything in detail. Then in Islam, knowledge and wisdom goes hand by hand. So we cannot make any division in Islam because of this. Because by having knowledge, you should be wise later. At least it is a process of being wise. And for us, the great teacher that we should have is the sign, the life and the practice of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, who everything in detail was in its own perfection in lifestyle. Because it was from God. We cannot accept it was from his mind. Because I mentioned in the last verse, in the last meeting, that in the Quran it is another verse that mentions if he is talking by himself and not from us, by God, we will kill him. We will take out his head from his body. Consider how much God threatened him if he used to lie to people with his knowledge, let's say, with himself. So the knowledge has a very great importance and detail one in Islam. Also, as I mentioned in the personal meeting, in Islam, it is not common that someone becomes a Muslim when someone wants to understand Islam and become a Muslim. It is not common and not real without having a previous knowledge about God, his prophet Muhammad and his message and other prophets. Because in Islam, if we don't love and accept the former prophets until Jesus, we are not considered as a Muslim. If we don't have this knowledge before becoming a Muslim, it is not common to become a Muslim. Because we should have the previous knowledge about this and then accept and to become a Muslim with the proper knowledge. By knowing about Islam, the Prophet, God himself, the Holy Book message, and later he or she must be merciful and generous after accepting Islam through knowledge with himself and or herself. With the family members must be merciful and generous, with society, nation, and all humanity at large. This becomes his step towards his wisdom. By having at first the proper knowledge, the previous knowledge before becoming a Muslim, this is the first step to become to receive wisdom and towards wisdom, even that it's only God who gives wisdom to whom he wants, as I mentioned in the verse of the Quran. In the above verse that I mentioned about God gives wisdom to whoever he wants, God mentions so that this book it is created for men or humans of understanding, i.e., those who have sound minds and good comprehension with which they can understand the words or advice and reminders and their implications with benefits from the advice. God says in the Holy Quran, God will raise those who have believed among you, will raise in high levels who have believed among you, and those who were given knowledge by degrees. Because knowledge, it is by degrees, and the wise people are the best of people. Prophet Muhammad said, "O people, say that there is no God by God, a pure monotheistic, no God by God only, and you will find success." And he told that the polytheists, he told this first to the polytheistic Arabs of his lifetime, to believe only one God and no other idols, no other made gods, since the first messages given to him by the Almighty God, read in the name of your Lord, the only one, and the greatest wisdom for believing in one and only God. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. As you mentioned in the question number 1, Quran itself is wisdom, and wisdom is followed by knowledge also. So the process is, the first we can get knowledge, and then we can get wisdom. And then can I conclude that in the Quran there is no figures. There is no figures that who have just knowledge and who have wisdom. I mean,
who has knowledge and is not wise. I mean,
yes.
It is the story, for example, of the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh was a king, Pharaoh of Egypt, old Egypt, ancient Egypt. He was knowledgeable and he told in the Holy Quran, maybe I think it's the same story, I don't know, I'm not sure in the Bible. In the Quran it is said that when Prophet Moses went to meet with Pharaoh, told him that God is up. And he asked him, show me where is your Lord, where is your God, so I can make a large stairs and I can reach to him. So he was knowledgeable, but he wasn't wise. He had knowledge, he had gathered his magicians. And in the Quran, story of the Quran, it says that Prophet Moses was advised by God through your how do you call it, your stick that you hold yourself as in old age. Through your stick, and it will eat their snakes. They made it out of magic. So Pharaoh himself was knowledgeable but wasn't wise. And he believed in the Holy Quran when God sent him the Moses with his army at the sea, at the Red Sea, and he followed with his army. In the Quran it is said that in that moment he declared that I do believe in the God of Moses. I do believe in only one God. But there is no meaning in Islam, in the conception of all prophets. There is no meaning in Islam. Because you did it out of many things. You did it out of fear, for example. not from your wisdom, not from your wisdom.
Okay, then the Quran says the process is knowledge first and wisdom is process and wisdom. But if we only have knowledge but wisdom, it could be very dangerous.
Yes, because you can misuse it.
Okay.
We have the same in different politicians around the world, starting from America.
Okay.
They are well-educated people, but they are creating war everywhere.
Okay, I see.